Hello there, sexy people. Why did Thanos originally know that Tony would one day become Doom? And why is it the Avengers' ego that gave birth to Victor Von Doom? Guys, Steve Rogers and the Avengers are real egoists. Their actions became the catalyst for the end of the multiverse. Everything that will happen in Avengers Doomsday is their fault. Let's break it down and see what happened. When Steve was returning the stones, it seemed like everything was going alright. In reality, his decisions triggered a chain of events that creates Doctor Doom and threatens to destroy the entire multiverse. An incursion is the moment when the walls between worlds collapse. Imagine you have two different universes, each with its own heroes, cities, and even different versions of heroes. And then, at some point, these worlds collide. The rules are simple. Only one universe survives. This is an incursion, and it will become the key conflict of the upcoming Avengers. Let's start with Avengers Endgame. The heroes decided to undo Thanos' snap. To bring everyone back, they went into the past and stole the stones. The plan worked. They snapped, everyone is back, and half universe returned. But here's the problem. Every action in the past creates a new branch, which means that instead of saving one world, they created several new realities. There is an important scene in the film. Hulk meets with the Ancient One. She explains, "You take the stone and my reality dies." Bruce promises to put everything back, and on the surface the problem seems solved. But that is exactly where Loki intervenes. Remember how he grabbed the Tesseract and teleported away? For viewers, it was a short funny moment. In reality, it was the turning point because in the Loki series we learn about TVA, the Time Variance Authority. Their job is to preserve one sacred timeline and prune all extra branches. But Loki destroyed that system. The branches started growing endlessly and he literally holds them in his hands, allowing the multiverse to exist. Beautiful and deadly. Here is the paradox. The TVA exists outside of time. For them, everything happens at once. That means that as soon as Loki disappeared with the Tesseract, the time machine was already broken and the branches of reality kept spreading. Even when Steve returned the stones in Endgame, it changed nothing. Moreover, Steve himself broke the rules. He stayed with Peggy in the past and created yet another alternate universe. The conclusion is obvious. The Avengers themselves created the chaos. They saved their own line but opened the doors for dozens of others. And when there are too many worlds, they start to collide. That is the incursion. In the comics, incursions were the prologue to Secret Wars. Universes crumbled and only one could survive. Doom took advantage of the situation and assembled a new planet from the wreckage of different realities, Battle World. He is not Thanos. Thanos wanted to balance through death. Doom believes only he can save everything. A harsh dictator, a thief of other people's powers, but in his own eyes a hero. The irony is that in one thing he is right. It is the Avengers' egoism that started the catastrophe. Steve's choices look especially bitter. All his life he preached self-sacrifice, but in the end chose his personal happiness with Peggy. His choice became the trigger for the end of the multiverse, and now their greatest enemy will have to fix the consequences. The end of this story is Secret Wars. There the fate of not just reality, but of the whole existence will be decided. And if the comics are our guide, Doom will be at the center of it all, because he's not just another villain, he's a god forged by the Avengers' own hands. There are scenes that turn out to be more important than we thought. In Avengers Infinity War, there's a moment when Thanos says he knows Tony Stark. Many took it as a simple Easter egg. He saw reports, remembers the Battle of New York, and knows who Iron Man is. But if you look deeper, it's not just respect, it's a prediction. Thanos saw not just an enemy in armor, but a future Doom. The scene was explained simply. Thanos respects Stark because both are burdened with knowledge, meaning they understand the future and feel responsible for it. But in truth, Thanos sensed more. He saw that Stark was walking the same path he himself had taken, just further. If Thanos believed that chaos could be balanced by randomness, Stark always believed the opposite. Chaos can only be defeated through a system, through total control. Look at his story. In Iron Man 1, he shuts down the weapons business and says, From now on, all weapons are only in my hands. That is already about control. In Avengers, he is the only one who understands Earth is vulnerable and wants to build a planetary shield. In Age of Ultron, he creates a Guardian, meant to protect humanity. It fails, but the core idea is control through a system. In Civil War, he again chooses oversight and accountability, while Captain America chooses freedom. In Endgame, he lives in his personal paradise, but as soon as there is a chance to fix everything, he throws himself back into the fight. Everything Stark did was never about chaos and chance, it was about the system and order. And here the Doom archetype appears. In the comics, Victor Von Doom is a genius of magic and a dictator. In the films, he can be shown differently, not as one man, but as a position, an eternal role in the universe, like He Who Remains in Loki. Doom is not a surname, it's a title, a place reserved for one man who is ready to take the burden of absolute control. And Thanos understood Stark is exactly that kind of person. He saw in him a future Doom. Not literally like he would put on the green cloak, but as someone who will one day reach his limit and say, enough. Enough is enough. Everything will be under my control now. Now imagine our Stark snapping his fingers, but in infinite multiverse. Somewhere where the timeline where he survived. Where the gauntlet didn't kill him, where he kept living, but in a collapsing world, with universes crashing into each other, where chaos cannot be stopped. And there he decides, chaos cannot be beaten by balance. It can be only beaten by total control. That is how Stark becomes Doom. It is not villain logic, it is a tragic logic. A man who always builds system, finally decides to build one system for all reality. In Avengers Doomsday, we may see not the Stark we knew. His armor could be a blend of Iron Man tech and Doom's Latveran aesthetic. And he will say, you don't understand, everything is falling apart. The only way out is a single world under my control. At that moment, Thanos' words in Infinity War gain a new meaning. He was not speaking as fan service, he was speaking a prophecy. Thanos knew Stark was always on a path to absolute power. Thanos wanted to balance chaos, Stark wanted to subdue it with technology. Doom is the final version of Tony, the only one who realized that balance doesn't work, freedom doesn't work, only absolute power works. And that is exactly what Thanos saw. Write in the comments down below what you think. Thanks for watching, see you next time guys.